So this is a typical example of aquatic ecosystem, and this ecosystem can be termed as pond ecosystem. We are considering this pond ecosystem as a typical aquatic ecosystem because the study becomes very convenient. You know, pond, it's a small water body, so it can be visited anytime, usually during a rainy season, where there is a small amount of water in a particular given area. And that pond water ecosystem can be referred as ideal ecosystem because we can see almost all types of components which are acting in their full extent in this particular limited area. Got it? And let us see now what is pond ecosystem and how the energy exchange process occurs in this pond ecosystem. To study this pond ecosystem, we have to create one small pond on this board with the help of charts. Right? So this is the pond, structure of pond. So this is the pond. And let's cut here with the help of a glass sheet. Imaginary. So this is the glass sheet. And what is this? Water. Surface of water. And this water body, which is present here in this pond, can be divided into three zones. So this is the surface water, and this is the middle zone, and this is the deepest zone. And I have put a line just for the convenience. It is not the meaning that only this portion is exactly differentiated from the middle zone. For your convenience, I put a line here, right? ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಗ್ಲಾಸ್ ಶೀಟ್ ಹಾಕಿ ಬೇರೆ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ. ಜಸ್ಟ್ ನಾವು ಕಲೀಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಈಸಿ ಆಗಲಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ನಾವು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಅದನ್ನ ಮೂರು ಝೋನ್ ಆಗಿ ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಝೋನ್ ಈಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಫೋಟಿಕ್ ಝೋನ್. Photic zone. Photic zone means the uppermost layers of water in any pond ecosystem or in any aquatic ecosystem, where there is a maximum light. Maximum light. And this maximum light results in the formation of maximum amount of glucose. And therefore this is called highly productive zone. Highly productive zone. Highly productive. Whereas this is the middle zone, and this middle zone can be termed as dysphotic zone. Dysphotic zone. And this dysphotic zone is called by this name, dysphotic zone, because here the light is slightly diffused. Light is slightly diffused. Whereas the deepest zones of pond or water is called aphotic zone. Aphotic zone, where there penetrates only few light rays, and this portion is always dark. This is not high productive than this, and this is not productive than this. I mean to say that this is the top zone called photic zone, where maximum solar intensity is present, and this maximum solar intensity results in the maximum productivity. Right? Now the question is there in your mind, how we can classify this zone into three zones: photic zone, dysphotic zone, and aphotic zone. Can anybody tell me the reason for which we divide this water body into these three zones? Because of the presence of light, because of the presence of solar intensity. Okay, that is agreed. Why it happens so? Okay. Any ideas? Just come on, come up with the ideas. Let's gather all the information from all of you and let's come to one conclusion. Why there is large amount of light here, diffuse light here, and minimum light here? Okay, she is telling that plants cover the surface. You say that animals are maximum here. Okay, great.
Starting from
Direct sunlight. Okay, agree. I don't know. Okay, any new ideas? It's not a new idea, it is there already. You have to think, you have to come out with that. Headache. I will give you one hint. In the morning hours, you can directly gaze at the sun. And also in the evening hours, you can look at the sun more pleasantly. Right? And I will challenge, you cannot gaze at the sun in the midday hours. If you gaze at the sun in the midday hours, even for a few seconds, your retina will be burned. Can you tell me why it is so? So this is the globe, and this is the center, and this is the atmosphere. Right? And here is the sun. Here is the sun. When sun rays travel in the atmosphere during midday hours at 12 o'clock, it has to travel only 500 kilometer thick atmosphere. Right? When you are here, the solar radiations have to travel double the length of this. Therefore, the solar intensity is less here and more here. In other words, we can say that when the light enters into the atmosphere, when light rays enter into the atmosphere, the penetrating light rays are influenced by the particles in the atmosphere. All these particles which are there in the atmosphere, they resist the penetration of solar radiations. Therefore, in the morning hours, you can very easily see at the sun, look at the sun. Whereas we cannot look at the sun in the midday hours. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ 500 ಕಿಲೋಮೀಟರ್ ಅಷ್ಟ ಸನ್ರೈಸ್ ಏನಾಗುದಿಲ್ಲ ಸ್ಕ್ಯಾಟರ್ ಆಗಿರುವುದಿಲ್ಲ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಹಳಷ್ಟು ಸ್ಕ್ಯಾಟರ್ ಆಗಿರ್ತಾವ. ವಾಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಭೂಮಿ ತಿರುಗಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿದ್ದ ಮನುಷ್ಯ ಶಶಿಕಿರಣ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದಿರ್ತಾನೆ ಹಿಂಗ. ರೈಟ್? ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಸೇಮ್ ಇರ್ತದ. ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಸೇಮ್ ಇರ್ತದ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಮಾರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಅವರ್ಸ್ ಮತ್ತು ಈವ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಅವರ್ಸ್ ನಾವು ಸೂರ್ಯನ ಆರಾಮಾಗಿ ನೋಡ್ಬೋದು. ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತು? When the light rays penetrate into the atmosphere, the particles in the atmosphere, gaseous molecules and the dust particles which are present in the atmosphere, they resist the penetration. The same thing happens in water also. So this is the pond ecosystem and this is the amount of water, and water is nothing but a liquid where these water molecules are slightly in scattered pattern than that of the ice. Right? Even though these light water molecules are scattered in the form of a liquid, they resist the penetration of solar radiation. For example, out of 100% of light which falls on this surface, out of 100% of solar radiations which falls on the surface, 20% of solar radiations are reflected. Right? 20% of solar radiations are reflected. Out of 80% of light which penetrates here in this photic zone, say about 50% of light penetrates in this photic zone, and only 10 to 15% of light penetrates in the deepest zone of water. That is because of the resistance offered by these water molecules. ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಸಮುದ್ರದ ಬಹಳ ಡೀಪ್ ಹೋದ್ರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದು ನಿಮಗೆ ಲೈಟ್ ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಈ ಸ್ಕೂಬಾ ಡೈವರ್ಸ್ ಇದಾರಲ್ಲ, ಸ್ಕೂಬಾ ಡೈವರ್ಸ್, ದೇ ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ಹೋಲ್ಡ್ ಒನ್ ಹೆಡ್ ಲೈಟ್ ಆನ್ ದೇರ್ ಹೆಲ್ಮೆಟ್, and with the headlight they can see the things. Otherwise the things will be totally in dark. Got it? ಈ ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಜಿಯೋಗ್ರಫಿಕ್ ಚಾನಲ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಕೂಬಾ ಡೈವರ್ಸ್ ಹೋಗ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಒಂದು ಲೈಟ್ ಹಾಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಆ ಲೈಟ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟಾಗಿ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ವ್ಯೂ ಸಿಗ್ತದೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಾಂದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಏನೂ ಕಾಣೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ aquatic nature of this deepest zones. Got it? Now this is water, and in this water we can see all these abiotic components. Abiotic components means physical factor. Physical factors. Inorganic factors. Inorganic factors. And these inorganic factors means inorganic elements. Inorganic elements. And these inorganic elements, they are always present in this pond ecosystem. And these inorganic elements, they are present in 3 different forms that we have studied. These inorganic elements, they are sometimes present in dissolved condition. For example, dissolved oxygen, dissolved carbon dioxide. All these are the inorganic elements which are present in the dissolved condition in water. Sometimes these inorganic elements form small compounds. And these small compounds, they are again present in dissolved condition. Sometimes they will be present in suspended condition. Sometimes they are present in sedimentary condition. And these inorganic elements, small compounds and complex inorganic compounds, they are always present in these 3 different forms: dissolved, suspended and sedimentary. These dissolved components, they are present in dissolved component in this water, whereas suspended particles are present in the form of small particles, suspended particles. Got it? ಈಗ ನೀರು ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಇತ್ತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದು ತುಂಬ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಸಸ್ಪೆಂಡೆಡ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ದೇ ಇರ್ತವೆ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಶೋ ದೀಸ್ ಸಸ್ಪೆಂಡೆಡ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ಸ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ವೆನ್ ಯು ಫಿಲ್ಟರ್ ದಟ್ ವಾಟರ್, ರೈಟ್? Otherwise they can't be seen with the naked eye. Whereas suspended particles, sedimentary particles, they are always sedimented in the bottom of the pond ecosystem or any aquatic water ecosystem. So these are the sediments. ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ವಾಟರ್ ಬಾಡಿ ಒಳಗೆ ನೀವು ಎಂಟರ್ ಆದರೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕಾಲು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕೆಸರಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋದಂಗೆ ಆಗ್ತದೆ, ಹೌದಲ್ಲ? ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಟ್ sediments. And in those sediments, all those inorganic factors, they are present: inorganic elements, small inorganic compounds and complex inorganic compounds. So one thing is clear: the inorganic elements, they are present in plenty in this water, right? Sometimes organic factors also there. Organic factors means the biological molecules. Biological molecules means the biological molecules which are essential for the life of the organism. And you have mentioned those different types of organic factors in your last discussion. And all these organic factors, the biological molecules, they are again present in these 3 different forms. Some of the organic factors, biological molecules, they are present in the dissolved condition. Sometimes they are present in the suspended particles like fat globules, fatty acids. Sometimes they are present in the sedimentary condition. They are sedimented at the bottom. ಹೊಲಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಟಿವಿಟಿ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆದರೆ ಮಂದಿ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಕೆರೆ ಮಣ್ಣು ತಂದು ಹಾಕ್ತಾರೆ. ಆ ಕೆರೆ ಮಣ್ಣಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿರ್ತದ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸೆಡಿಮೆಂಟ್ರಿ ಸಬ್ಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸಸ್ ಇರ್ತಾವೆ, inorganic elements as well as organic factors. And all these organic factors and inorganic factors are present in this pond water. Along with these inorganic and organic factors, there lies physical factors also. One very important physical factor is light. And the light is present in different intensities in different zones of water. So this is called photic zone, this is called aphotic zone, and dysphotic zone, and this is called aphotic zone. And this temporal light which is present in this atmosphere, that determines the temperature. But one thing is clear here, that the light changes the temperature of the pond to its minimum. Water is the only medium where there is very least temperature fluctuation, because in any water body, this water is always shows movement. If this portion of the water is heated, it gets a streaming movement, so that cold water comes upwards. So this streaming movement always distributes temperature equally in the entire water body. That can be very easily explained with the help of one simple experiment. You take one beaker, slightly you heat that with a Bunsen burner, and in that beaker you have added water, and along with water you have added some paper pieces. When you start heating the beaker with the help of Bunsen burner, these paper pieces which you have added into the beaker, they start showing a type of typical movement called streaming movement, so that the entire amount of heat supplied from the bottom is distributed in the entire beaker. The same thing happens here also. Therefore, here we can see that in very hot temperature, during sunny days, the temperature is raised up to plus 2 or 3 degrees Celsius. That's all. ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ temperature fluctuation ಆದರೆ what happens? All those organisms which are present in this aquatic ecosystem will die, because all the organisms are very sensitive to heat, because the metabolic activities are biochemical reactions. All these biochemical reactions are facilitated or regulated by enzymes. As enzymes are sensitive to heat, the organisms are also sensitive to heat. ಬಹಳ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ರೇಸ್ ಆಯಿತು ಅಂದರೆ ಈ ನೀರೆಲ್ಲ ಕಾದು ಬಾಯ್ಲ್ ಆಗಿಬಿಡ್ತದೆ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್ಸ್ ಏನಾಗ್ತವೆ, ಸತ್ತು ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತವೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಯ್ತು ಅಂದ ಕೂಡಲೇ ಅದು ಡಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಡ್ತದೆ ಬೈ ದ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಆಫ್ ದಟ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೀಮಿಂಗ್ ಮೂವ್ಮೆಂಟ್. ದರ್ ಆರ್ ಕರೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ವರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಹಾರಿಜಾಂಟಲ್ ಕರೆಂಟ್. The vertical and horizontal currents in water that distributes the temperature in the entire water body. Therefore, we say that there is a minimum temperature fluctuation in the aquatic ecosystem. Both this light and temperature, that results in the third factor, that is called pressure. Pressure. What is this pressure? Pressure is a force exerted by the particles on the body of the organism, right? And those organisms which are present in this aquatic ecosystem, they are very well modified, very well habituated for this type of life, the aquatic mode of life. For example, you take the fish, one small fish, and this is the fish, and this is the body of the fish here. And if you observe the fish body, what you feel? ನಿಮಗೆ ಏನು ಅನಿಸ್ತದ? When you observe this fish in a water body, helpful for swimming, okay. Birds are modified for arboreal mode of life, and the body of the bird is modified, and we can call the body of the organism, this bird is an aerodynamic body, right? Which can easily penetrate in the air particles. So in the same way, this body of fish, it is called hydrodynamic body, and it is modified in such a way that it can move very swiftly in water. We cannot catch the fish with our bare hands. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಹುಕ್ ಹಾಕಬೇಕು, ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರೆ ಫಿಶ್ ಅನ್ನು ಕ್ಯಾಚ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯನೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. The fish can run swiftly in water because of its hydrodynamic body. And you see here, this hydrodynamic body, if you observe in this view, sectional view, this is the longitudinal view, and if you observe this sectional view of the fish, it is like this. This is the sectional view. So what happens? If at all any pressure is there, this pressure is divided like this, right? ಇದೊಂದು ವೇಳೆ ಹಿಂಗಿತ್ತಂದ್ರೆ ಅದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಪ್ರೆಷರ್ ಬಿದ್ದು ಈ ಬಾಡಿ ಕೆಳಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತಿತ್ತು, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಮೇಲೆ ಬರ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗ್ತಿರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. And animals, aquatic animals, when they are living in water, they are influenced by two types of pressure. One is the atmospheric pressure. The atmospheric pressure is on this water, and the other is the pressure exerted by these water molecules. Therefore, the body of the fish is modified into a hydrodynamic body so that it can live very easily in aquatic ecosystem, or it can easily lead the aquatic mode of life. Got it? ಈಗ ನಾವು ಕೂಡ ಹಾಗೇನೆ ನಾವು ನಮ್ಮ ಬಾಡಿನ ಈ ಥರ ಮೇಂಟೈನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ ಅಂದರೆ our body pressure and the atmospheric pressure, they are in equilibrium always. If you send me in this space with this type of costume, my body pressure becomes more, and the atmospheric pressure becomes less, my body swells slightly, and in one fine moment my body will be burst into pieces. ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಅವತ್ತು ಹೇಳಿದ್ನ astronauts when they travel in the space they wear a special suit called space suit where there is a proper pressure is maintained. ಒಳಗಡೆ ಇಷ್ಟು ದಪ್ಪ ಮಾಡಿ ಅವರು ಕಳಿಸ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ, ಒಳಗಡೆ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರೆಷರ್ ಇರ್ತದೆ, ಅದನ್ನ ಹಾಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗದೆ ಇದ್ರೆ ಅವರೆಲ್ಲ ಓಡೋದು ಚೂರ ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ, ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತು? ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಪ್ರೆಷರ್. And this pH is negative hydrogen ion concentration which is present in this water, and the water pH, negative hydrogen ion concentration, determines whether the water is acidic or basic. Acidic or basic, right? And in high acidic condition and high basic condition, the organisms cannot live. There should be a proper amount of negative hydrogen ion concentration so that there is a proper pH which supports the life to its maximum extent. All these are the physical factors which are present on this in this aquatic ecosystem. And if you come to these biological factors or biotic components, these biotic components, they can be termed as microbes, plants and animals. Microbes, plants and animals. What are these microbes, plants and animals? All these are the functional groups. Microbes, they are called sometimes decomposers, plants are called transducers, and animals are called consumers. And if you see these microbes, number of these microbes, they are present in almost all the three zones. And some of the microbes, they belong to plant kingdom, and these microbes, which can be seen only with the help of optical instruments, they are called phytoplanktons. Phytoplanktons. Most of the phytoplanktons belongs to algae. And these phytoplanktons, they are miniature plants, microscopic plants, and these microscopic plants, they are present always in this upper zone of this photic zone, upper layers of this photic zone, right? And therefore this zone is called limnatic zone. Limnatic zone. Limnatic zone means the zone which is in the upper layers of this photic zone, and the upper layer is always fully fledged with these phytoplanktons. And these phytoplanktons, they fix maximum amount of sunlight, and this zone is therefore is called high productive zone or highly productive zone. Highly productive zone because of the presence of these phytoplanktons, right? These are called miniature plants, microscopic plants. You can see these plants only with the help of optical instruments. For example, diatoms. Diatoms cannot be seen with the naked eye. To see these naked diatoms, you have to use microscopes. You have to take some amount of water, you have to centrifuge it. After centrifuging, all the diatom cells will be sedimented in the bottom of the test tube, and then small amount of that material can be observed. You will see plenty of diatoms. Okay? And these are called microscopic plants, phytoplanktons. And these phytoplanktons, they give or supply the food for microscopic animals. Microscopic animals. And these microscopic animals can be termed as microscopic plants are called by this name phytoplanktons. Whereas microscopic animals which feed on these phytoplanktons are called simple zooplanktons. And these zooplanktons, they feed on these phytoplanktons. And these zooplanktons, they are feeding small crustaceans. And these crustaceans are dwelling in the tubes. Therefore, they are called tube-dwelling crustaceans. And these tube-dwelling crustaceans, they are taken as food by small fishes. Small fishes. And these small fishes are the breakfast of large fishes. Sometimes frogs, also maybe they, sometimes very small aquatic animals, maybe they, and all these organisms, basically feed on these phytoplanktons, and phytoplanktons supply food for zooplanktons. Zooplanktons supply food for crustaceans. Crustaceans supply food for small fishes. Small fishes supply food for large fishes. Likewise, the energy exchange occurs here. Now coming to the macrophytes. Along with the macrophytes are also there. Macrophytes means large plants. And these macrophytes, they are the main source of energy fixation here. And these macrophytes, they are present in a different forms. And in your practicals, you are going to see only 2 or 3 examples of these macrophytes. And these plants, they are actually can be clearly observed with the naked eye. And these plants, they occur in various zones here. Up to the middle portion of this biotic zone, we can see the existence of these macrophytes. Right? But not in the photic zone, dysphotic zone or aphotic zone. We can see the maximum number of plants here in the photic zone and minimum number of plants up to the middle of this dysphotic zone, according to which these hydrophytes are called by different names. Sometimes, if you visit any pond, you might have observed that the pond water surface is fully packed with water plants, hydrophytes, aquatic plants, right? And those aquatic plants usually cover the entire surface of water like this. And these hydrophytes which are present on the surface, but always they are present in the floating condition, they are referred as floating hydrophytes. Floating hydrophytes. Floating hydrophytes means the aquatic plants which are present always in a floating condition. And in these floating hydrophytes again